David Zritsky for the Bond Experience. Welcome back. I am so excited about this video right now because I am joined by somebody that's very special in my life. Somebody that, look at her, she's already eye rolling. She's given birth to me. This is my mother. Hi, Mom.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm fine. How are you doing?
I'd love that she's doing this. This is not something that you would usually do, is it?
Oh, no.
No.
This is so against anything I would do.
I've asked her probably for years to do this, right?
Yes, yes.
But you came on today because one of the things I wanted to talk about, people have been curious about what came before I started the Bond Experience. What type of child was I? Was it, imagine it? Wow, it's starting with a gasp already. Well, let's start in the beginning. Ever since I was a child, I'm the youngest of three, obviously. Mm-hmm. How would you describe me as a child?
I have 3 children.
Yes, you do. That's accurate.
David is the youngest.
He is.
And David has always been very, very special in that he has been unique in his developmental abilities and in his approaches to anything that he started with. Starting with, and I'll give you a little anecdote.
Okay.
We had a 15-gallon fish tank.
I know this story. Yeah, God, keep going.
And David, for some reason, wanted to see what the impact of a little miniature Tonka truck would be on the glass of a 15-gallon fish tank that was fully equipped with these beautiful fish and plants and gravel and things like that. Yes, David was a young child at the time, but his unique ability and his curiosity started at a young level. And so when the Tonka truck came into contact with the glass, we had 15 gallons of fish, gravel, plants, glass, and all the sundry on the floor of a family room.
And I have the scar on my foot to prove it.
Yes, you do.
Because some glass went down.
Yes,
By the way,
you do.
you've already described me as special and unique. Not something that's always positive sometimes, special and unique?
David was always very special in a very positive way.
Oh, okay.
I didn't always appreciate that.
Oh, that's interesting. Is it all right? So let's. Here's the thing, and we've got to paint an accurate picture because this is
Yes.
about authenticity. You have to understand something about my brother and sister. Even today, my brother and sister were straight A students,
Absolutely.
unbelievably academic. I was the Weisenheimer. Is that accurate?
To some degree. However, being an educator myself, I have to tell you very frankly, David was in a gifted and talented class from a very early age because I may not have appreciated his talents, but there were teachers that did, and he always worked outside of the box. So from a very, very young age, he was just very curious and very
Yes.
interested in knowing how things worked within his own framework. And so, yes,
That's true.
he was
Curiosity. That's a big one.
curiosity. Yes.
Which I think
yes.
still extends to today. Part of this channel is me being curious about products and information and about Bond the character. But we almost have to dovetail because a part of this is my imagination. And one of the things I told people
Absolutely.
in my podcast, you have been and still are an incredibly supportive mother. I mean that.
Thank you.
You knew that I was a
Patient.
storyteller.
Tolerant.
They get it. They get the clear picture of me. Tolerant. Still are tolerant. But I think that a part of it was that I was a storyteller living in my own imagination. We didn't have a lot of neighbors around us.
Right.
Star Wars figures, things like that. Talk a little bit about imagination and playing and all those things.
Well,
Oh, wow, clearing the
here
throat.
goes. I remember that David loved Star Wars, but there were other things he loved also. And he always had a unique way of playing with things. He and his brother would play with cards, playing cards, in the cracks of the wood on the wood floor in the living room and build things.
Yes.
I remember one time David wanted to see what a glow stick would do
Oh my gosh, yes.
on the
Toilet.
cover of a toilet. And these are just two of the
Yeah.
things that
I destroyed things a lot. I did. I took batteries to light bulbs.
in your journey to discover things, you may have destroyed a few thousand things.
Yeah. Kind of like Bond. I mean, Bond
Exactly.
tends to, he's not into
Exactly.
construction, he's into deconstruction.
Yes.
But I do remember the glow stick. So this, for those of
Yes.
you who have seen the movie Predator, with the blood that like is like acid,
Right.
I snapped it. It was glow in the dark glow stick. It got on the top of the toilet seat, and it ate into the top of the
It
toilet
ate
seat.
into it, yes.
This is before they had like safety glow sticks.
Exactly.
All right. So at what point, at any point, I tell a lot of stories about how Dad got me into James Bond.
Yes.
You know, he wasn't the type of guy to throw a ball in the backyard, but he was the type of guy to say, hey, James Bond is on, sneak into the bedroom, watch it with us.
Right.
Do you remember those moments?
I do. I think I fell asleep halfway through the movie.
I don't blame you.
And probably to this day, I would still do the same thing. But excuse me for being so sacrilegious about James Bond. But
Who are you? No, I get it.
no, I do not fall asleep when I'm watching his Instagrams.
Wow. That's thank you. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
But James Bond, when Dad was watching, it was like, that was a special moment. But
It
you,
was a special moment.
Yeah, you weren't
yes.
included in that.
Actually, sometimes I watched a little bit of
Okay.
it, but most of the time I was busy folding laundry, doing mom things, you know.
Were,
that kind
were you
of thing.
conscious of James Bond in my life when I was that young?
No.
Or it wasn't
No.
until much later?
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
No.
It was mostly like Star Wars and...
Star Wars and the Star Wars sheets you had.
Oh, I did have Star Wars sheets and
Yes,
pillow
you did.
cases
Yes,
and everything.
you did.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
And then, so at some point, let's fast forward. At some point, at what time or what space do you recognize this Bond experience is really global? I mean, there must have been a time when you're like, oh, David's hobby of James Bond is sort of gotten out there a little bit.
In the whole framework of your life, I have to say it was recently. Now, let me qualify recently. As an adult,
Yes.
after the children, your children,
Yes.
kind of grew up and you,
Could become a child again.
no, not Peter Pan, but you know,
I'm Peter Pan.
that kind of
Yeah.
thing. But I didn't really realize the impact that you had on the James Bond community and vice versa until you were well into your adulthood.
Yeah. And then you started noticing videos, and I know some of the videos you've actually seen.
Absolutely.
You don't watch them
Absolutely.
all, do you? I would
A
pity
good
you.
portion of them.
Really?
Yes.
Do you like see all the stuff on Instagram?
Yes.
Really?
How do I know what you're doing in your life if I don't watch
Well,
Instagram?
that's okay. Fair. That's true. My gosh. And I know you keep track of, like, when we go in like a Bond location, you keep track of all of that stuff.
Absolutely.
Why? Why do you keep track of all this stuff? You could easily turn a blind eye. Is it interesting? Is it because I'm your son? A mix?
Yes.
Yes. I've given her the easiest question to answer.
I find it fascinating that you have the impact on the Bond community. I find it fascinating that you are expanding into an international capacity, or have expanded.
Yeah, no, good points.
And I find it absolutely incredibly fascinating to read about the comments and meet the people that you have had contact with, because they are amazing.
Yeah, it's true. It's so varied. It's never something that I take for granted. How many different people, and I don't even know if everybody knows this. I mean, I'll get hundreds of comments on something, but I read every single one. I maybe not be able to respond because that takes so much time, but it really is very meaningful that people feel an attachment, not just to my channel, but to this whole kind of Bond community.
And it is a very, very special, warm, caring, supportive community.
Yeah.
And it reaches all levels of children and adulthood, and I think it's amazing.
Well, thank you. Thank you. That is amazing to hear you say that. Even though I started out unique and special, I can retain that unique and special, but put it in a positive direction.
Absolutely.
Yeah, all right.
Absolutely.
I love that you did this with me. I know that, first of all, for somebody not in their comfortable space, you were great.
Thank you.
You were very natural.
You have to say that, I'm Mom.
I do have to say that when the camera stops, all bets are off. No, she's great. By the way, she clearly has my sense of humor, too, as well. I did get that from you.
Okay, that's good. Thank you for that.
Well,
thank you for saying that.
Yeah. All right. Listen, I'm going to let you drink your tea and enjoy the rest of the evening. Mom, thank you so much. Come here. Come here. Mwah. Love this woman. And, of course, this has been also David Zaritsky for the Bomb Experience. I finally had my mom on. I'm so excited. We'll see you all real soon.
There probably won't be a sequel.
There won't be a sequel. Take care.
Bye.
Thanks for watching this episode. If you want to be up on the latest from the Bond Experience, just click on this subscribe and subscribe to our channel. You're going to get all the latest and greatest information, plus some exclusive content. And by the way, speaking of content, here's something especially for you, just because we know you. Talk to you soon.